Wow, we are late. Um, or well, we are like 5 minutes, I think. So, anyways, um, what is going to happen? I don't know. We have this. I think I have like too much stuff to try. It would be worth trying to watch. Mm-hmm. Every what? Yeah, I think there is like too many stuff to try and watch. So I don't know. Anyways, I will. I will be back. Hello, I'm back. Yeah. Good, good night, Sana. I hope you're doing fine. Here we are. It took me almost 5 minutes, but here I am. So, I would like to watch something, anything at all, but uh, problem is, I didn't see something particularly interesting. Something in Spanish? Wow. Like, too many things to try and watch. No. No. It's the worst, I think. Attention paralysis, they will say. Um, hmm. How is it that nothing can be that much interesting? I mean, no, I think there is nothing to really watch. At least for today, I didn't find anything particularly interesting. Like, I won't be here 20 minutes in a row trying to search for something to watch. Nah, I I pass on your offering today, dear YouTube algorithm. Thank you for failing me. I guess I don't know. Um, no, or we can watch like a 24-minute video. Let me see what is this out. What is this about? Wait, what? What is this? What is this? Let me see. No, no, no. It's one of those videos explained with. No, yeah, yeah, no. I pass on your offering. Then I will probably watch it later on, but by myself, yeah, no, nothing really interesting to watch. I think so. Then I guess I will have to accept that sadly this will be only chatting, as they will say, because I have nothing to really give to in particular. Um, yeah, I no problem. I was thinking about sending it to you probably. Um, I kind of also forgot my bad. You have it on just in case. What? No, what? Wait. It can. No, no. We don't have it. What? Anyways, nonetheless, you have still on the about section. I think it is the Discord. I think. Uh, ah, what a nice thing to. Ah, man, the bot is not working once again. Anyways, no, but yeah, there it is, the Discord itself, where in reality, I don't say that much stuff about anything overall, but I simply exist over there. Let's say it like that. The bigger consistency that you can find about me is there. Everything else is kind of secondary. I don't know, but yeah, here we are now. Um, I don't really know. Well, I mean, it will be kind of hard for me to talk like without any idea whatsoever. But I think that will be what is going to happen tonight. Certainly, I don't feel like putting any real effort. No. I, I in reality it is more like I don't I don't think um, I can come up with something fully random. Wait, we went over time. I noticed my bad. Hello everybody. Here we are. On another beautiful, in my case, night. So certainly, I I hope that everybody is doing fine. That we find ourselves ready for whatever ends up this one particular thinking session being about. And yeah, here we are. I think here we have some little time to spend on talking. I guess I don't know. Um, it has been not that long since the last time because we can we are um, maintaining our semi streak, so that is fine. I think we're getting back into regularity. I think so. That is certainly something to enjoy. And well, um, as always, I think hello everybody, in particular, lurkers, bot watchers, viewers themselves also sorry, and yeah, mm, I think today we'll have to say hello to Savannah. Savannah Pure also. So yeah, that's everything so far with the short introduction. I don't really have any particular idea about what this one is going to be. As I said before, I haven't really put any thoughts behind what was going to happen tonight. I would say that it was more rather because I had a certain interest. Um, why are people burguesy? Why I I think it is like a good way to call people, like you are the bourgeoisie and I am me, you basically are let's say yeah, I will consider that somebody who decided to join the Discord, let's argue like that. Somebody who decided to join the Discord might as well be interested in not, yeah, in not just what happens here, but also observing a little bit more of what I end up sharing on that side, because certainly you will find a lot of, not a lot, some information that might be related to streams and so on. Yeah, that's why I am also it, because on a different sense, I mean, it is simply a description of what a potato ends up being, simply an object, in this case, a potato as in object, as in something that you can categorize as what is it as a human? Therefore, you simply call those type of things they, them, slash it when you refer to them. Not that we're really alluding to anything. I mean, I didn't put that much thought into any of that. It really happened that I just I just mm, come up with all of that in the spur of the moment. When I made the Discord the first time, and after that, everything else might be more fledged, and that might that might be kind of something that, yeah, that I have kind of um, not revised, I would say. But yeah, that is kind of a short explanation as to why things are named the way they are. And I mean, you can also see that, for example, there are multiple multiple chats, many of them in which nobody except me can talk, and all of that is simply to keep it kind of organized and such. The main objective is always to try and live based on what is going nowadays, at the very least on streams, to try and keep a clean record about what we do watch and what we do talk about and such. So it is nice to try, not to try, to see that you can pretty much follow what was the different type of events that we had throughout time, also based not only on what happens here but on the Discord. And on that sense, something that I can, for example, accept as a reality is that I don't really say that much stuff. I don't, yeah, I don't have that many things to verbalize. I think. I mean, I barely, if I am not here, I certainly don't think that much about almost anything at all. I am not that mentally active anywhere else. I I have found a way in which I can pretty much exercise my mental energies without any other preoccupation. But I know that for the biggest part of my own day, I don't have a chance for doing so. Therefore, I don't have, for example, a chance at really stopping to come up with something mildly, um, mildly interesting, I will say, or mildly, yeah, mildly attractive as this ends up being, because at the very least, based on my own view of things, this this will be something that I will pretty much probably consume, I guess. And yeah, I mean, all of that is are things. I don't know. And the objective is always also to have something that can be, yeah, that can be observed regardless of when is it that somebody decides to come here. As it also, I mean, the most basic part of all of this, that I am kind of failing because I haven't. I could be doing that. I haven't been uploading every single one of the words directly into the YouTube channel, and that is because there needs to be a proper record of as many things as possible for those who might come later on to also do or try to realize a deeper dive and find everything that might have happened without preoccupying themselves about not having had the chance of being there, aside from the obvious kind of problems that arise from all of that, as in, obviously, if you go back to watch something that already happened, you know that you won't have the chance of directly interacting, let's say, as it happens here, or as it, yeah, as it is the norm when you have the chance of being active in a place like, um, it doesn't have any other way to call it, the chat itself, you know. So, although you understand those limitations, you still have the capacity of watching all of the other things that do interest you. And why the fuck is my phone making a noise? Shut up. Okay, my god. I didn't mute it. Anyways, I got distracted. I was around. Okay, yeah. And I mean, all of those things are, at the end of the day, um, tiny gears that make up what is the main objective of all of this. Something that, although it truly is, realized out of passion, in my case, I I don't think there is any real obligation for any of us to be doing in any particular activity on this side. Although it has that nature, we still find things that are not only interesting, but that can also be considered minimally worthwhile to observe, I think. And the problem is also always that when you say something of that sort, you might be categorizing something as word while also having to deal with the consequence of naming something word. That is to realize that what isn't really word if what you are postulating as word has the quality itself of being word. But I don't know. I mean, you don't really have. Yeah, I don't say things in the sense of wow, I am so above everyone else who comes here or anything like that. I simply do happen to find myself interested in what we do here, and that's kind of the end of it. After all, yeah, we are not that in any way different from almost anybody else on what happens here. The main kind of difference might be that we do spend some time properly, not properly, not even properly. Yeah, I will say something like we accept that what happens here has the connotation of being consistently the stuff that is more and more related to the act of probably not doing something that is as pleasurable, I will say, as um, I don't know, watching a movie, for example, because you have to accept that reading a book isn't that much interesting, and that reading, yeah, watching lessons isn't all that much appealing to the broader audience. If that were the case, universities wouldn't be so empty, mm, and the amount of people that would go to the classes to simply play the role of an observer would be higher instead of what happens nowadays that sadly is we really lack people learning for the sake of learning. So yeah, we are not that advanced in any particular sense, but it simply tries to have any sort of better consideration behind it than um, I don't know, um, just playing something, or I mean, we're in the just chatting category. Just literally just chatting is different from what is our average stuff, you know. So all of those things do play a role in what this might be perceived as. But I don't know. I also, although I have tried so hard, I haven't really found a way to categorize everything that we do over here. And I mean it from the almost from the deepest part of myself. I don't really see how all of this can be explained to someone else if you are accustomed to what are the kind of norms when it comes to streaming, because it doesn't really have that much of a proper structure, and it doesn't really have that much of a conventional one, even less. So yeah, things like that, I guess. But I don't know. I mean, it still is wonderfully interesting to be here, and even more wonderfully, yeah, almost a luxury of us to try and be here as much as we are. Because, as always, it is no obligation to occupy ourselves with any of the activities that we do realize. So it all ends up simply adding up to the pleasure itself of going through motions that might have a different result than what we might have ever expected, in the sense of, at the very least, obtaining valuable information, I guess. But I don't know. I mean, it still is always problematic to try and talk about it because um, not everybody can. Yeah, it isn't like that. But I mean, on the other hand, yeah, I I understand what you say when when you said that it is late. I don't know. I mean, a problem I think is that I certainly stream late also for myself. Like it is let me see. Yeah, it is already 1 a.m. on my end, so it is late. And it it has become late for me also. But I I don't really manage myself that much or yeah, I mean overall I am not that conscious about my own times also. If I were, I will probably be streaming at, I mean, 1 or 2 hours earlier than today, for example, but all of that comes with being more responsible. And, you know, sometimes it is kind of hard to be responsible after all. I mean, responsibility is not so wholesome, I believe. But yeah, I mean, on one hand, that, on the other, it is already the morning on where they are. It is true. I wouldn't know exactly which time is it now, but it will be probably like between 5 and 6 a.m. So yeah, it, it is understandable that it is already the morning. And I mean, um, as always, no, I don't have the obligation nor the responsibility about any of these things, but please, if you can take care of yourself. And I know even more that I am in no position to say any of that sort because I also do lack that capacity of regulating my sleeping schedule. But if you can remember how it was that you felt when you had the chance of enjoying a more proper sleeping schedule, I will I will request of you to try and fix it because certainly it is damaging and yeah, it isn't that healthy. Not only because you lose, um, you're not so conscious about so many things that do happen throughout your day because you lack sleep, but also you sadly start to slowly damage your health in the sense of your immune system also gets altered because the supposedly normal rhythm that it should carry is disrupted by your conscious actions in this case, and all of those end up throughout throughout enough repetitions, it ends up leading to an overall decrease in your health. And it is always, I think, it is not good. As I said before, I am in no position to really say it. But if you can, please take care of yourself. I mean, it is always nice to try and be more responsible in that sense because it goes back to what we were saying before, no? That it is late at the very least for the both of us in this case. And if I were to be more responsible with myself, we could be here earlier and I could be doing everything. Um, I mean, yeah, always. I could be here earlier and we could be, in that same sense, almost taking more care of ourselves more properly because At the end of the day, what I said doesn't simply apply to you, it also applies to me. I finish streaming at around like 3 or 4 a.m. sometimes, and it always takes a toll. And I mean, you can try to convince yourself that we are still young and such, and because we are young, we don't have that much of a responsibility over, yeah, over what is nowadays considered over worrying about our health and such, because we have so much overabundance of our own health that we can almost spend it without any regard whatsoever of our future. But that sadly is simply, yeah, when you reach an older age and you see how incredibly tired you are almost, you, not tired, but almost, what is it? Let me, yeah, you are simply tired. You are more like altered by so much damage that you do to yourself. But yeah, before I ignore it, yes, I am young. I will say. I mean, I don't know. I think it is young, taking into consideration that so much people that I know is older than me. I think that 21 years old is young, supposedly. So yeah, I think that's young, considered obviously, or compared to someone who is um, a little bit younger, like 15 years old. I will probably already be in some way old, and they will be wrong also. But yeah, I think I am young, and I don't know. I mean, the problem is also in this particular argument where we try to define um, what is old, because even if you are 30, or I mean, I know people that has 40 years old, and there is no real excuse to abandon yourself. Like, I don't know. Sadly, I don't know. That is a completely different topic. But yeah, um, supposedly, yeah, I think the biggest factor, okay, the biggest factor might be something along the lines of um, how in your head can you picture yourself as young. That is what matters the most in that sense, instead of simply, wow, I have this age, therefore I am this destroyed by life somehow. But I don't know, yeah. uh, Before I keep getting derailed by my own ideas, certainly, um, I am, well, I mean, kind of, I am not I am not from America, so I don't have the US drinking age applied to me, but yeah, if I were to be from there, I will now finally be able to drink. But not my case. Not my case. But yeah, I don't know. Also, I mean, I have been I have been learning about it before, and it is interesting to consider what can be all of these um, wiseness stuff, because you can certainly believe that it all can kind of relate to the different ways in which you do kind of notice things and such. But I don't think I have any particular wiseness in me. It is more like you simply learn all things and you can later on apply all of those um, lessons in life, I think. I don't consider myself wise. But if you can say that, um, or if you believe that, thank you, I guess. But yeah, where I'm from Argentina, I think it is supposedly it is obvious. I haven't really paid that much attention to my own voice, but it should be kind of obvious, based on my accent and such, that I am from South America, and that I am sadly not English main language, I think. But I don't know, I haven't really checked that much since 1 or 2 months already, but I think there should be a noticeable difference between how I used to talk before and how I talk nowadays. So you might also. No, no, I don't think I would really pass as an American in any way. I also have a lot of inconsistencies between my word usage and such. And obviously, I don't even have a proper pronunciation of almost 30% of the normal vocabulary, so that is also not a problem. But yeah, main point. Sorry, where Argentina? That's where me be from. Um, I don't know. But yeah, I mean that's that's everything that I can say in that sense. And yeah, um, going back to it, I would. I don't know. I don't know. I think I think we are here is already more than enough, and that we have the chance of once again, as I always say, of sharing all of this is more than sufficient. I mean, after all, it is always positive to spend your time doing what you enjoy the most. And crazy enough, it has almost become one of those um, mm, impossibly complex to comprehend realities that this has somehow taken the place of something truly interesting to me, and truly not simply interesting, obviously, um, that I have ended up almost learning to appreciate properly because, and as I said before, we are doing so many things that are all of them interesting and that all of them have their particular things when it comes to giving us so much. And I always, as I consider at least to me, it gives so much entertainment that it is a gift, and it is one of the biggest ones that we do have. And to share all of that is more than precious. And well, I don't know what is the real point behind all of that is that we can keep being here, and that we can try to keep being here. That is the reality. And I mean, on the other end, it is also true that we have a lot of improvements to keep making, as always. Um, for example, I I have been thinking lately about how to be less erratic with timing and all of that. As I kind of mentioned that already, no? That I don't really have that much of an organized life in in reality or outside of here. So I do struggle a lot with coming up with proper timings and such for all of these things. But when we can get here and when we can organize things to go better, it becomes pleasurable and it becomes good enough for us to enjoy. And I don't know, I mean, it is it is definitely something. It is an start, I guess. And I don't know. I mean, enough time has passed. Okay, that is one thing. Yeah, full stop, let's say. And now, enough time has passed. So, I I have no idea. But just in case, because at this point, it almost feels, I would say, dishonest on my end. I've, you know, based on how much I reveal about myself, you might as well have created a little bit of a profile about me. Can I know a little bit about you, Savannah? I mean, if you're comfortable sharing, please, because I don't know that certain thing of somebody having so much information, but I don't know. That's on you. Ah, anyways, um, I think I think we can still find things to keep enjoying. Moving on it onto something different. We can we can still try to see more things that can be positively taken. I guess after after not so much consideration, but rather just observing what all of this has ended up being, it becomes noticeable that we are taking longer than expected on a lot of different projects, I will say. And because of that, sadly, we are going to spend even more time on what could have been done earlier, I think. And on a deeper level, it also sadly means that, for example, one of the main things that I always wanted to do and that I wish to keep doing is all of these list of different topics to go through that I tried to cover before and that I tried to consistently do until I became not, yeah, I stopped being capable of having consistency. And it goes back to what we were talking. Sadly, it is literally only on me the responsibility of that, and literally, it is my fault that I am not consistent with any of this thing. So I have no way to blame anybody else but me from all of these different problems, I guess. And I don't know. It is still a pleasure to do whatever else, but on on a different end, it is still one of the many objectives that we have, or yeah, that I let that allow that I allow to be shared with everyone else. Let's say like that. Um, is to have this be, as I said before, not simply wow. Today we're going to play 5 hours of Mario Kart. And the brain, we're going to turn it off because we're going to be hearing hard metal in the background, and we're going to get angry at the game because it doesn't let us get first place consistently every single time. I don't think I will I would in any particular way enjoy an experience like that, sadly. So it does take, at the very least for me, some time to find it um, more entertaining, anything of that sort. And when we can instead, or rather, keep being here and keep doing all of these things that might have a different perspective or a different outcome, is better. After all, I mean, I never stopped thinking about what I once heard. I don't know. Yes. Before that, I hope you can properly have a good rest, Savannah. Thank you once again for being here. Please keep taking care of yourself as you have been doing, and if you can take a little bit more, that will also be incredible. But yes, thank you, and I will try to properly rest when I can. But yeah, that's that. Finally, then I guess I don't know. To sleep. But yeah, going back to it, idea is we can try to find a little bit more of sense behind all of the things that we do. over here, and they can somehow feel better, I guess. And okay, okay, okay. I didn't understand why was this named like that. I wasn't paying attention. I guess I don't know. Let me. Okay, give me a second so that I can send this one also to start uploading into the YouTube. Now that we are not doing anything else. Uh, okay, there it is. So, anyways, going back to this, yeah, I guess we do have a lot of opportunities when it comes to finding more reasons to be here instead of trying to justify the purest type of entertainment, the one that could even be considered almost devoid of any other meaning. I guess I don't know. After all, we're never that deep. Sadly, yeah. So the the reality is also we're not that deep even more because the average or the norm is to not be deep because anybody can hardly be fully fully in touch with their feelings, as they will say. So it becomes a big problem to try and talk about so many different um, profound, to a certain extent, ideas when in the middle of all of that you do realize that sadly the first thing you have to let go almost is the sense of, I wouldn't simply say pride, um, the sense of self, I don't know, something like that. Do not feel so affected by knowing that what you're going to reveal is probably coming from a deeper from a deeper place of yourself. Obviously from a more vulnerable one. So all of that ends up sadly getting you to be more and more closer. But I mean, yeah, probably something like that, sadly. When the more you put up a facade that you are stronger, and the more you supposedly act as someone who is more capable of dealing with all of these different problems, the less of a capacity you really have to be real with others. That is kind of why the average person wants to find the capacity to be, as they will say, real, as they have learned that it is almost impossible for them to really have anything of that sort happening. In when, on the other hand, I'll end up simply being a random occurrence that you have no way of truly observing, let's say. But I don't know. I mean, that is also one of the reasons, or one of the many, 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 many reasons as to why you can try to justify why we are here. At the end of the day, it is good to not be so defensive overall. Nobody would ever want to approach someone else if you, as the one who is trying to approach the other, realize that this person has so many different strategies to not be true with you about who they are. And I don't think it is all that negative, because certainly going back to this, you can notice that different people do find ways in which you can slowly overcome these problems, but it all still is sadly dependent on the ability of the self almost to not be so encumbered when it comes to, yeah, when it comes to accepting your faults and such. But I don't know, I mean, all of this has almost evolved in a banter about things that I have. At this point, I think I lost the proper understanding that I had about them before, or I didn't really learn about them, and that is why now I am struggling to fully recall of these ideas into something cohesive, I guess, because all of this has almost a very simple explanation, and that is sadly, you have no way to know or to realize if what you are in these cases creating is valuable or not. And if what you are trying to articulate has been comprehended, you might as well put it in a way in which you know that what you are communicating is proper, properly explained to others. And in this case, obviously, as I said, I lost that capacity. I don't even know if what I am talking about is fully articulated or not. Well, I mean, most of the time I don't even have that capacity. Instead of myself, I always do wander about from one topic to the other randomly and without any cohesion whatsoever, almost sadly. So that is also another big problem that I do have. But anyways, I mean, I don't know. The factors that might not play that much of a big role on life, I guess. And even if they do, one might not be really aware uh, of their importance. So in these cases, I can't really predict how much of an impact it has to supposedly not be fully real with all of these things and such. But I don't know. I don't know. I mean, we're still doing well, so that is more than enough, and we might as well try to keep doing well. And even if we don't have the possibility of doing that, we don't find other things to try and minimally minimally enjoy what we have. I think something like that. I don't know. You you do always fall back almost into something rather rather appealing, I guess. Um, so let me see, because what the fuck? What did I do? No, the idea of everything that I had connected on. I almost, I thought I almost logged off out of every single account that I had. Yeah, that was that was a surprise. No, it didn't happen. Okay, anyways. Oh, oh man, that scared me. Yeah, going back to this, sorry. You do happen to realize that so many things have all their different, not simply realities, because reality is properly, or yeah, can't fully be uh, explained in a way in which we wouldn't spend so much time. It simply happens that things do go well and things are enjoyable rather compared to what you would have ever expected before because you are putting your efforts towards doing so. And we can, yeah, because we can consistently try the same thing over and over again, it also is that we do earn the chance of observing if these things are more and more enjoyable. And when you put this idea into perspective, or when you connect this one with what we have been kind of considering before, that is the notion of you having the chance or having the possibility of not being, yeah, rather so lost in the whole sea of notions that exist in the world or throughout the world because of those things and because of the different mm, parts that do make, yeah, that basically do make up what you nowadays have. Because of all of those different notions, now you don't have even to worry about what is kind of the next point. I think something like why is it that the different efforts that you do put to become worthy? Because consciously, that is, you don't have an obligation towards thinking why it is like that, or trying to tell yourself why did it achieve the quality of being worthy, let's say. And because now you can properly once again go back into making all of this um, interconnected in a sense, and because this quality is always kept intact, that's as long as you keep working, I guess. um, because of all of these reasons, once you do go back almost and do analyze what is it that you are doing well, you can notice that things can be enjoyed almost on a deeper sense, because this isn't simply like, wow, we are doing well, but it is more like we're doing, we're enjoying this, as I said before. In particular, we're enjoying the act of being here present right now, and also we are finding ourselves um, amidst the possibility of doing something that supposedly is worthwhile, or that we decided to call worthwhile instead of everything else. And that is why, even more with these things into consideration, all of this should feel good, or in some way does feel good, even if we can't even exactly pinpoint why it does feel good. It's somehow does, I guess. But yeah, that is the nature of things. I don't know. Give me a second. But yeah, basically that's basically. Once again, we're back to here. Um, I don't know. I think we do well, but we don't really get to be the best place. Also, that is another notion of this. That sadly, all of the different efforts that we do put can't be fully called the best ones, because the amount of self-depreciation that we do realize against ourselves, and even more, um, the amount of negativeness that is almost inbound to happening to to ourselves with time gets more and more increase, the more you learn that supposedly the world is dangerous somehow, even if we can't really explain to others why things are in any way dangerous or not. We say that things are dangerous and we believe that things are that way, but we can't nowadays really put into perspective why things supposedly are negative and such. And sadly, the reality keeps being that the more you do learn, the more you do observe, and the more you do become part of this whole world, let's say, uh, the more the rest of things stop being so kind of meaningless and so kind of negative compared to before. Because you can also observe that more, more often than not, the biggest detractor of your own actions doesn't really lie out there in the open field, but rather has been always you to a certain extent, and has been always what you did and what your own actions created, what stopped you from getting to different places, let's say. So I don't know. I mean, it always is crazy to to try and go back into all of these things and to realize that in reality the biggest um, the biggest enemy that you had was somehow yourself, because at the end of the day this is this kind of old idea that, yeah, nobody can really stop you but you, and not so real, sadly, not so true. And the more you do observe concepts like this one, it is also that you can start to realize that no, not so simply put. Um, you have to keep dealing with what you are, and you have to keep dealing with what your problems are, and you have to keep facing them, and you have to keep accepting them as something that does exist and something that is in your hands to fix. But there are also different factors that do limit what you can do in the rest of the world, that might not really be in the hands of you, but rather behind the predisposition, the predisposition that others might have towards what you already did have. So it is only with time that you can say it, and that you can somehow notice if all of these creations were properly born out of fully interesting things instead of simply being just another fully interesting things. Did I say what? Fully, yeah, fully personal things, sorry, instead of simply being problems that arose from the different perspectives that, not perspectives, different blockages that you found in your way to achieving what you wanted, I guess. In that case, I really guess, I don't know. But I mean, it always is kind of hard to keep trying to explain so many things when to oneself, so much of those concepts can barely be explained to oneself, let's argue, because nowadays I think we have so much information overall to consider, and we have so many things to observe, that it almost becomes uh, impossible for us to try and explain anything else that does exist in outside of the most comprehensible things, I guess. And I don't know. I don't know. Um, I think the efforts of trying to do such a thing, um, yes, basically, if you can keep yourself safe from getting overwhelmed, you might as well have an easier time. After all, you don't really need to be so utterly destroyed by what is the world and what is overall the reality found in the rest the rest of the universe, I think. So I don't know. I don't know. We are here. That's the most important thing. We are here, and we can keep always being here. I, to a certain extent, always with the connotation that although we are here, we should try to strive to be in an even better place. That is the reality, and that we should try to always also put our efforts towards increasing the quality of the situations in which we are, because there is no obligation to remain simply satisfied with what we do have. And although it is true that when you do find commodity in what you already own, you own more the levels of satisfaction that you experience through life, kind of, through what has become your actual life, that is the reality. And the problem is, if you can't truly explain or try to make sense out of everything else by your own, you don't really get a chance at enjoying what you are and what you might wish to obtain in life. And I don't know, so many times it has been shown, I think, almost to everybody, that the less you wish for, the more you feel grateful for, as long as you are obviously not wishing less because you think that you don't deserve it, but rather that you don't wish for as many things as before because you simply don't see a necessity over them. The more you act in that particular way, the more you can keep being part of this world and not being so utterly destroyed by what is a reality of consistent, I don't know how to say it, I think it is more like not just consistent but rather continuous efforts made towards the advancement of your own self, so, something like that. I don't know. I I don't know. I think certainly I am on one hand talking about this, but on the other, sadly, full stop about the last topic. On one hand, I am talking about all of that, and on the other, I had noticed that I am racing through a million different ideas, and sadly, this has almost become the norm for me. I think, and this has almost become another big factor as to why I don't really have the chance of being consistent with anything that we do here. Because the biggest pain is to realize that we are not bound to getting anywhere as we were before, in the sense of we don't really get to find ourselves doing as much effort as we should be doing compared to what was earlier times, I guess. And I don't know, the continuous negativity is also hard to avoid, but the realization that you can still push yourself. And going back to what was talking in between, in this case, Savannah and me, almost an hour ago, you don't have that much of a necessity over taking care of yourself, no? But you can pretty much still do it, and you almost have an obligation for doing it, because doing so is more than beneficial to you. And if you can keep taking care of what you are, you do find that things do go not simply well, but rather better than before. And you stop being so destroyed by reality. And because that is the case, you don't have such a necessity over struggling, obviously, over every single encounter that you are going to have. So it is still hard to notice what is the middle point between, okay, I am really doing a harm to myself, or I am rather just enjoying my time here and later on getting to a further place or something of that sort, because I am pushing myself a little bit more. And this one I have heard, I didn't put that much thought myself, but it makes sense that nowadays we have almost created a culture in which we ponder such a message as if it was the main obligation to push ourselves so much instead of simply being conscious of our own health and such. And I don't know, I think there are so many things that do also preoccupy us. I mean, I wouldn't know. I wish it was easier before. I would pray for things to be easier before, because nowadays, as somebody who is supposedly younger or young, sorry, you do realize that things are messed up a lot more than what you ever expected. And that, for example, I wouldn't have a wish ever for me or my friends to have to worry about something like the war, you know, and a possible tiered world, yeah, tiered world war, like it is supposedly close to happening nowadays. And I wouldn't have even thought about finding myself um, not even knowing if I am going to wake up tomorrow to the news of things having gone fully out of control, and now finding myself in a place in which I can no more live a normal life and such. And I don't know, I will believe that in reality we never had that much of a sense of safety overall. I mean, if it wasn't when we had when we were in the middle, what is not Middle East, in the older times, uh, that's I can't put it in different words, but something like when we were in the Wild West and such era, where it was so possible for somebody to come and rob your city out of their luxuries and such, or when we were a little bit more advanced and gangs were supposedly such a big thing that almost every city had them, and you were so preoccupied with getting robbed or getting shot because somebody else was also getting shot, and you were almost unavoidably going to catch some stray fire, um, or later on, when the First War started to happen, if you never knew that who you had close to you was really that safe or not. And I mean, I don't know, yeah. You can keep seeing different examples of that same notion. Even nowadays, we haven't had like 10, we haven't had like 5 years of peace, I think. I mean, damn, son, I mean, we didn't even have 5 years of peace. We haven't had thrown so much time, even 5 seconds to rest. We really haven't found a way to not be so submerged in problems throughout time still somehow. How is it possible for us to be dealing with so many stuff yet believe that somehow only now we're doing worse than ever? I mean, I think it simply happens that the accumulation of all of these things on the clouded mind might not really allow you to realize how close or how far threats are in for real. Because no, you can believe that things are bad or that things are even worse than before. But if the reality is that you indeed have no obligation whatsoever of noticing if things are going well or not, and noticing if things are getting to a better place or not, um, you don't really get a chance at saying. Not that you don't get a chance. Everybody has their chance, and even more, everybody has the chance of believing that their opinion is completely correct. Sadly, when things like that happen, you end up realizing that you are overworrying yourself, man. I mean, I don't know. In that same sense, I can say that, for example, today I'm going to sleep like a baby almost, noticing that we might as well not be that fucked as they will say. Because after what has been almost a tiresome week when it comes to dealing with more and more problems that do stack up and that do take a toll on the mind and the body, to see that out of nowhere, wait, I mean, yeah. we haven't really had that much of a time, of a breathing time, I guess, or of an easy time. I think you can learn the lesson that, yeah, bro, we are fine and we can keep existing and we can keep going and we can keep finding things to go for instead of destroying ourselves so much with all the other reasons that maybe do exist. I guess you can try to say that and you can try to believe that it is real, that you have no possibility of knowing where in reality you are right now and such. But I don't really know. So far I think we are doing good and we can keep doing good and we can keep having good times and we can keep having good experiences, and even more we can, main point also, we can stop worrying about so many things that do happen, even if they keep happening. Like, I don't know, um, people will keep getting threatened to death even if you make no move whatsoever on that sense, because you are surrounded by the most pure human beings on earth. Bad things will keep happening somewhere else in the world, and there is no possible way to avoid them, I guess. But I don't know. I don't simply say it as, wow, we are so fine, shut up with the reality. No, it is more like, sadly, you're kind of forced to stop seeing so many things on the negative side because the world won't get any brighter, as it has never gotten any brighter whatsoever. Only when you yourself can find bright things, it is that you can realize how much of a brightness it can really hold. But by itself, the world has no obligation, and even less, no uh, real way to force you to feel like it is in any way whatsoever good or enjoyable. I don't know. Something like that. I do believe. Well, I, I can't say that much more so far. I think this is kind of the ending point, I guess. I have run out of. Not that I have run out of ideas, it is more like I would wish to not um, keep um, stretching over time this thing that might as well have a proper closing point. Because at the end of the day, this is a good way to close it. A positive note to end it on instead of saying negative things and being, wow, you know how much pain is out there. No, I mean, yeah, and can you really avoid the pain? Can you really not be part of the pain, my brother? That is more important than simply saying, no, wow, how negative everything is. I don't know. We are fine, and we can keep doing fine. So yeah, so be taking that into consideration, going back into it, as always, then thanks. Thanks for everything. It is always a pleasure to be here, and it is always a pleasure to do whatever it is that we do. In this case, a simple just starting session. And well, we'll see what has the future for us in terms of the next thing that we might do. And even if we don't get the chance of doing something else, we have enjoyed a lot what happened today, and we can rest at ease knowing that we took advantage of the opportunity given to us and we did what we enjoyed instead of lamenting not doing it. So, yeah, thanks once again. Remember, obviously, to take care of yourself, to sleep, to hydrate, to eat properly, to check your health if it is something that you need to do. And, well, as I said before, if we get the chance, we will see each other in the next one. And if we don't, at the very least, we enjoy doing here. So, with that said, thanks for everything, thanks for being here, and have a nice, great one. Goodbye, and thanks, thanks, thanks.